Morning all, hope you slept well and welcome to the top 5 tips for the July 4th deals or heatwave deals of 2025. The first tip is don't feel forced to spend your units and also spend your money. You're going to see a lot of fancy things, a lot of maybe content creators, not me as I don't spend in the game, but although there could be some free-to-play content creators that will be kind of opening up a load of units and getting some good stuff, maybe that's the case. But don't feel pressured from what they're doing to spend your units and of course spend your money because you might not feel that it's actually worth it. Also, because there's high chase items and high chase champions, there are some things to consider with that. And with doing 39,000 units, which you can see in the solo event, which is here, to get Human Torch, don't go chasing this extensively because it does seem a bit unfair. The same thing when it comes to the one that's in the web store and the milestone there, $600, ladies and gentlemen. Probably going to be a little bit less than that, maybe about 580 when you consider the free market points that you do get. That can help save a little bit of money, but it's still quite extensive. It's not the $400 of the Craven, the Hunter, within it. It's not 15,000 units of 7-star Craven the Hunter of the Hunter's Market Cyber Weekend Deals 2024. And just finishing up that point about don't feel forced, like look at other content that you might have to do. Could the units be better spent into go and do a bit of content and getting effectively the same amount of rewards for less of the cost? Act 9.2, if you have 15,000 units, you can get a rank 3 to 4 gem. Yes, it's not a generic choice, but at least you get it for kind of a lower than the value. So my next top tip is having a budget. Having a budget or setting yourself like a point of saying, if you're spending, you might say, well, I've only got enough for $100. If it's $100, choose wisely. You might go to the web store, grab a deal, grab an Allfathers, for example, and get one tier 7 basic. If you're, of course, Valiant, get some units, a little bit more normal, a Titan Crystal, and of course, some extra stuff to boot. You could say that that is your budget. That's all you can afford. That's all you want to afford, right? Then do that. If you've got a higher budget, hey, cool, you have a higher budget. You may be into relics, and get some decent relic-based stuff. Or you could save that for Cyber Weekend deals, which you can spend across a plethora of things. We'll talk about how Cyber Weekend deals become an important factor in a moment. But one thing you can do within a short space of time is grab some more units. And within 9 days, you can farm up to 2,000 units, maybe a little bit more, going into about 2,200. So there is some options there if you have, say, a budget right now of, let's say, you have 16,000 units, but you want to get something really good. 18,000 units will get you there fast. Go do that. A good kind of thing that I would point out is that if you want a 7-star Awakening gem, there is a nice kind of 18,000 units grab there. You can get some nice amount of 7-star signature stones at 11,250. And for those interested of pushing up to 22,500, you can get yourself a fully formed materials tier 7 basics wise for rank 4 7-star. So if you're Valiant, of course. I will be doing lower player progression observations. That is going to come in a new tab for this spreadsheet, but I'm still building it out. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I've got a lot of stuff on, including I've got to see my dad. So I will try and get this done because I know people want to make decisions early doors. But I would say take a bit of time, just chill out a little bit, and plan a lot more. The final point I mentioned earlier was Cyber Weekend deals and kind of preparing for the future. Something that people do miss is that the devaluation starts in summer, and you'll see better unit spend and money spend to the more spicier items return back to you. An example would be if it's going to cost 22,500 units to rank for a 7-star, theoretically with tier 7 basics, chances are for a Valiant player it'll be down to about 15,000 by then, or 10,000. That's how this works. The same thing with Titan Crystal Shards. 7-star signature stones have also been devalued as well since July 4th. Not July 4th, the Cyber Weekend deals. And one thing that I forgot to mention on that particular point about having a budget is if you spend a little bit, whether it's units or money, look to form. If you're close to forming, you're like, well, Rich, I don't need to spend 22,500 units. I could get a fully formed tier 7 basic for about 3,000 units or 3,750 units. Yes, that's exactly it. Be savvy to that particular point of, I can form, I don't need to, as in form a catalyst, form a crystal, I don't need to spend quite so much units or money. Good. Do that. Have a budget. And carrying on in a similar vein, target what you need, not what you want. A want would be, I want to get a load of Titan Crystal Shards. A want would be, I want, I don't know, a selector. Well, you don't need that. What you theoretically would need are things that are going to make a difference. That need would be, I need to get better champions, my Battlegrounds defense. I need to get this champion to do this piece of content. For me, I need to get Count Nefaria and Penny Parker to make a certain fight in Wheel of Fate easier. More so with Count Nefaria. It can be done with other champions. It's just the code word is easier, and also reducing down materials or potions for that matter. So some of the things that you could go like, oh well, I would need that is if you were targeting champions. So you might be like myself, you're trying to target either Stark Enhanced Spidey from the CCP challenge. That's a good option. From Omega Days, you can go like, oh, a Mega Sentinel. Say if there was a champion within the 2024 selector, you might be like, well, I want that. The Picky Picker, there might be something within there that you want. You may want to rank for a 7-star. You may want to go deep into tier 8 deals. You may want to go light and scoop up as much resources as possible to get a 1 to 2 7-star gem. Not just on Valiant, but of course across the board. You may have wanted to get tier 6 basics and ultimately let down by the fact that Kabam can't put out a good amount. Kabam! You do realise that it's 9. You need 9 tier 6 basics to rank up a champion to rank 3 as a 7-star. So you need a lot. I'm saying we need a lot more. And cheaper too. So stuff that you might need at this moment in time. It may even be relics. Unfortunately, there's no unit-based things with that. It is spendy deals. So you could have a little bit of an issue there. But yeah, target what you need to get. Maybe increase to a new progression. We'll have to, whatever you need. And also, shards are RNG. I think people miss off like the allure of them. If you're going Titan Crystal Shards, they are RNG, so you might not get what you need from them, but the want of opening up something from a gambling perspective is pretty much there. Next up, I'm picking well. Picking important champions, hey, it's why we play the game. Kabam add new champions that are going to be of benefit. Nexuses are going to be some important things. Yes, I did say about, shards are kind of RNG, yes. But if you have to, you feel you want to, then, hey, selectors have a better scope of choice. Omega Days, CCP Challenge, whatever, depending on how many units you've got to actually spend. But if you go for Nexuses, whatever's available, at least that gives you a chance to pick something that is going to make a difference. Alliance Wars, AQ, a particular piece of content. There's a lot of things in game to use certain champions for. It may even be like a champion is just so hyped, ridiculously hyped, that you're like, I really want to get that champion, but trying to go into a standard Titan Crystal to try and get said champion is utterly ridiculous. But if there's a Nexus, a different choice with that one. So be careful always. I find it very difficult to go, this is the way to go with kind of grabbing, champions. But picking and picking well and picking to make a difference is probably the main thing. Tricky defender, tricky meta defender, decent attacker, old school defender, a champion that people are necessarily dying to in Battlegrounds and Alliance Wars. See if you can grab it and also rank it up at the same time. Or get the better starage version. If you've got a 6-star version, you're like, well, the 7-star version hits home, hits harder even. And that may be the better one to choose. So pick wisely, take some time, look at some tier lists. And also look at like some previous things that have happened with performance and go, that may be the one I go and pick. Now, if you're lower than a Valiant player, you may want to go up a progression. You know, maybe Thronebreaker trying to get up to Paragon. You may be lower than that trying to get up higher. A lot of these deals have become better. Thronebreaker and Paragon are now sandwiched together. And I think this is going to be the running order. Kabam are trying to encourage you to go up to Valiant. They want everybody at Valiant right now. Unfortunately, the rosters don't have that kind of scope of width to kind of like cope with stuff like Wheel of Fate, which is just a very kind of stinky piece of content. Anyway, the upping the progression, again, very important. Kabam have improved, and this is something really key. Did you miss this? You might have done, might not. The amount of rank 3 7-stars that Thronebreaker have access to is incredible. Right, we're talking here 750 units plus the 3,000 plus the 750. That's 11,250. Right? I think that's I've mapped that correctly, something like that. Anyway, it's over 11k units, and by doing that, you could have picked up 2 sets of tier 4 alpha materials to rank 3 a 7-star. If you wanted to, you could just go with a straight gem right there, a rank 2 to 3. That is what I'm talking about. If Kabam are buffing up those particular rewards to get you up higher quicker, again, of benefit. There's a lot more rank 3 7-stars. This is what I'm going to be covering in a video either later on today or tomorrow to kind of, wow, you know, it's improved. Lower down the pecking order, Breathe and Conquer, Uncollected, Cavalier are all sandwiched together in the same one. There's still 7-star shards available, 2 players down there. So, hey, that's pretty good. But also the resources are there. This is all about catching up, increasing progression, and look at that. You can bypass a lot of rank up based stuff. So, hey, you know, good luck. Look at a progression instead of, say, shiny things, and then look towards becoming higher ranked up, higher progressioned up, going into the future months of the contest, because it does get better. You want to position yourself now to be further ranked up. Before we reach Cyber Weekend deals, before we reach Banquet event, if you're a higher progression, it is going to be a huge benefit for you when it comes to the end of the year. So if you've got the units, and I'm hesitant to say the money, you may want to kind of look at progression to get some benefit as well. Anyway, that's been the video. That's been the top tips. I'll have the spreadsheet done hopefully between today and tomorrow. Have a lovely weekend. See you soon, and bye.